video. So we want to dive into this video. There's something a little different that we're doing on the channel. But when we see the news, we report the news, and that's what we want to talk about. So the XFL and the USFL is talking about a merger. And I think that's a really, really big thing that they're talking about this merger because when the NFL ends, baseball ends, there's no college football. Yes, you have basketball, but what you want in a way, you want sports all year round. And see, the way it typically happens is the XFL goes first. They play their 8 teams, and then the USFL have their season. But how would it look if both teams end up merging with 8 teams and 8 teams getting together? Now you got a 16 city team, and I think that's outstanding. So let's go ahead and dive into this video, right? Let's dive into this video that we are talking about. Now, let's look at it like this. Let me go and flip my screen, actually. Let me flip my screen. All right, let's see if I can grab this and flip the screen. Come on, man. Flip the screen. All right, here we go. Now, this is the USFL. This is the older of the two. The XFL did start under Vince McMahon, and we'll dive into that. Both teams stopped after some point, and now they were reintroduced. So here is the XFL. Let's go and look at the teams. Birmingham is one of the teams. This is some of the updates of what's going on. And this gives an opportunity for a lot of players that's not going to make the NFL. It's only a certain amount of teams that will. There's so many teams that's going to make the NFL. So some of these players are sitting on the sideline. They need to get in the game, and they need to play some sports. They need to make some money for their family. They have talent. They just don't have the talent for the NFL, but they got a talent for the USFL and the XFL. So let's go right here. Let's look at the teams. Let's look at the teams right here. All right. So that's not what I'm looking for. What am I looking for? Teams. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for here. All right. So these are the teams here. You got Pittsburgh Maulers. So this give Pittsburgh a way to have a pro team. Then you got the Michigan Panthers. Michigan Panthers. And this is the USFL. What team is this? This is the Philadelphia Stars. All right. Then here it is. This is the New Jersey Generals. Here we go. Birmingham Stallions. And look, Birmingham had a pretty good season last year. Pretty good season, I would say. All right. This is the New Orleans Breakers. So the New Orleans have an NFL team, and they have their USFL team. Okay. The Houston Gamblers. So Houston have the Houston Texans. Now they got the Houston Gamblers. So you see a crossover here. So this gives teams like New York to get a team, all these, because now when you get more teams, you got 16. Now you're going to see more teams, more bigger cities. For example, Atlanta, Miami, New York, LA. All of them have an opportunity to get in and get their own team. Then it's the Memphis Showboats. Now, those were the teams. Let's go back. Let's go back here. So you got 4 here and 4 there. That's 8 teams. Now let's come over here to the let's see. Let's go to the teams over here. All right, so now you got the Arlington Renegades, the DC Defenders. Houston actually got 2 teams. They got a XFL team and they got a USFL team. So Houston Roughnecks, the Orlando Guardians, San Antonio been begging for a pro team ever since when Katrina hit. Then where everybody know New Orleans played in New Orleans. You got the Seattle Sea Dragons. That's another team that has an NFL team and um, an XFL team. St. Louis, remember they lost their team, the St. Louis Battlehawks and the Vegas Vipers. So these will be those 16 teams to make up this league, which I think is outstanding, right? I think is outstanding. This will give strength in the league. Now, before I get into the story, how much does players in XFL and USFL make? Let's see if we can get down to the gusto. According to the reports, the base wage for both leagues is $59,000 plus $5,000 per game and $1,000 bonus for each win. That's not a bad salary. So the base salary is $5,000, and then for each game you win, you get a chance to make plus $5,000 per game you play in. Then you make $1,000 per win. That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. Because if you look at the Memphis team, that was 8-2. So let's do some math on that. How much did they make? All right. So if you play 10 games, because they were 8-2. So okay, 8-2. So they played 10 games times 5. That's 10 games times 5,000. That's 50,000. Then you add in their base pay, which is 59,000. So that's 109,000. Plus they won 8 games. Um, that's $8,000 more. That's 117,000 plus playoffs and things like that, right? So a player on an undefeated XFL team can earn up to $72,000 in 2023. A player on a winless XFL team can earn $50,000 on a 10-week regular season. So I don't know how it will affect the seasons and stuff like that because the salaries both align each other. And then when you look at the practice squad, I believe the practice squad, they make $2,500 a week. So the way that it goes, more strength in numbers, more games played. So instantly, the players will make more money. They will make more money. So let's come over here. XFL, USL in advanced talks on merging leagues per reports. All right. So let's talk about what happened in the merging. The XFL and USFL are exploring a potential merger, according to multiple news outlets. Axios first reported that news Tuesday, describing the 2 spring football leagues as being in advanced talks to merge their operations. The outlet added that the merger will require regulatory approval, and the leagues hope to finalize the deal ahead of the 2024 season. I think that's going to be cool. And I hope other larger markets will get into it because one of the largest markets in there is Philly and Houston. So I'm hoping other larger markets like Miami, Atlanta, Dallas, of course. You got California teams that possibly can be interested, and you work to expand those leagues. All right. So a spokesperson for Fox Sports, which owns the USFL, declined comment. XFL spokesperson Jeff told USA Today Sports in an email that we would not comment on rumors, or speculation. All right. The talks come just a few months after the first spring in which the two nascent leagues competed directly against one another for fans, sponsors, and media interests. Their respective seasons overlap for about 2 months. So, when you look at it right there, you can clearly see that is room for both teams. You see that. It's room for both teams, and that's a good thing. All right. For the XFL, the 2023 season marked a return to play following a period of significant turbulence. After its brief run in the early 2000s, the XFL played part of one season in 2020 under the ownership of WWE founder Vince McMahon before the COVID-19 pandemic prompted it to file for bankruptcy. It was later purchased by a group including Danny Garcia, which is the ex-wife of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who received it in time for return earlier this year. So you clearly see that they definitely was not playing when it came down to getting that league up and going. And it's a significant thing if you merge both leagues. I think they need to stop playing with these 10 game leagues and go ahead and put some things in motion. I think that will help the sport a lot. The USFL, meanwhile, recently completed its second consecutive season. The new iteration of the league debuted in 2022. There have been lingering questions about whether or how the two spring football leagues will coexist after a spring in which they fought for TV ratings and fan interest. Join, people, join. I think that'd be one of the smartest things to do. I do think there's room for both leagues. XFL chairwoman Danny Garcia told USA Today Sports in March. Prior to the start of her league season, I think one great thing about having two leagues in this slot is you've got to sharpen, you've got to give more, you've got to take better care of your athletes. When asked if he thought both leagues would still be operating separately in 2025, USFL President Daryl Johnson said in April, I think in the ultimate end game, the viewer and rating determines that. So you clearly see that it's going to take some time. Maybe by then, more teams may get on board and see how things go. But anyways, this is Antonio with Team Tiggio. Please like, comment, and subscribe as we will see you in the next video.